What's up, guys? Today I have a specific thing. One second, let me grab my coffee. And my vape. Coffee here. I had a vape somewhere around here. Whatever. Yes, this is my hot mess. Get over it. Alright, so now you see I'm living like a fucking slob because I just literally woke up, but I had a thought on mind. I'm gonna reveal a tiny bit of truth to people about myself, about my history, about my belief, and about some other things. Now, honestly, in the same light, I should do the whole promotion thing where I sort of ease into it but not give you any beat. That, to keep you in suspense, to make you watch the whole video to meet the algorithm. This is where my brain works. I could do that. And it sort of seems like I'm doing it in the first place and telling you a whole bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with the topic. And I'm spending exactly 1 minute doing so. So that way, I get 1 minute of you watching the video. Help me get monetized. It's just a hustle. Pay attention. Now that I showed you how patterns work and how you can see them, I'm going to show you another pattern. I myself have a specific belief, and everyone hates me for it. Or not everyone, majority of people. I am an anti-theist. Now, if you put that together, that's an atheist because that's just what it comes out to be. But most people don't understand what that means. I do not believe in the constructs of most systems of belief. Some of the histories might be accurate, but some of them are completely false. Some of them, they vary back and forth, which is very interesting, and why I choose to say that and say it proudly and not incur some wrath of God, the Almighty, Yahweh, nobody. Simply put, every path has a trail, usually, unless you're forging a new path, right? But what happens when everyone is using a path and they just name it something different? Let's say one is called the forest walk, the forest trail, forest day, day marking, whatever, who cares, right? They just keep naming it something different, but the path is still there. And on that path, they highlight different trees which make the path their path. And all those trees are different, but the path is still the same. Well, what if I said that my only goal is to walk the path? I don't care about the trees, the bees, the snakes, the knees, none of them. I just care about the path. That is more along the lines of what I use the specific distinction of being an atheist and not a celebrity type. Oh, I hate God. No, I don't know. I have an idea. I have a bias, but I'm going to say, no matter how hard I try, I can't fall in line. It is not possible for me because as much as you people point out the trees, the bees, the snakes, and their knees, I don't see it. I don't care. They aren't important to me. They're not important, the different stories and the parables and the principles, because by walking the path, I can see that on my own. I don't need a distinct explanation of which tree is the most important in the forest, because there's a lot of trees and each one of them bring their own bit of nuance to it. Even if one tree is hurting another tree, they both are there. So, how do you make it work, Kyle? That's what I get asked. How do you do that? One, I keep it to myself. I show my belief by walking my path and letting people see me walk my path. And by doing so, I run into a couple things. One, I'm always approached by people of religious stature who want me to join their team. And tell them no, it's not going to happen. And they say, oh, well, what church do you go to, or what group do you belong to? I'm not telling you that. It's none of your business. Why? I'm not in some conspiracy or whatever. It's just I've learned very easily that one's path, moral coding, and understanding is based on your rules, not someone else's. Just as much as there's one group that believes in punishing the wicked, there's another that believes in the mainstay of law is only by those who walk a path or walk the path, which I'm using the path as insert your religion there. That makes it easier for people to understand. So when you walk the path and you're doing the right thing, and you still do your prayers or give your thoughts or give your understanding to whatever higher power is there that can understand it, you're doing things on a couple levels. One, and notice what my wording, if that power exists, then it hears you and it is there for you. If it isn't there, you're now wording out your thoughts to formulate a better idea and open up pathways in the brain to understand what path you should take yourself. You see what I mean? So this is an all-encompassing, I can't say it right, way of thinking that has helped mold me to be able to help people discern truth and stay humble and not present many of the negative tropes that come along with naming my path, right? Because when you name a path, everybody wants the royalties for the name. Oh, you named it that? Well, we want our royalties because we own this part of it. But no, I'm just walking the path. You can't own the word, the path. No one named it the path. It's just the path, the footpath, the whatever path, or the path I'm walking. You didn't name it that. You see what I mean? So, as you do this, remember one, since you didn't choose which path you're going to call that you're walking, you don't get the benefit of blaming the owner of that, the claimer of that path. You don't. It's your fault every time. Every fucking time. You make mistakes, you. No one else. You walk that path, you chose to do it. You chose to do it your way. So that means the fault lies 100% on yourself. As others may call it, it's your sin. Now, here's where it comes interesting. Instead of begging for forgiveness from above, you're going to still ask for forgiveness. But first, you got to forgive yourself because you made the mistake. Then you correct it and ask for forgiveness from an outside force. Do you know what I mean? So now you're taking on your responsibility. And you can either rectify it or keep on walking. It's kind of up to you wherever you put your moral coding. Now, when you decide on your rules for that path, such as I'm only going to walk, I'm never going to run, or I'm never going to push past anyone, or I'm going to push past everyone, whatever your choices are for when you walk this path, you made that decision. You can't flip-flop around because now you're not walking a path, you're flopping around. You'll get lost, or your interactions with others will slow you down on your own path because you won't have a consistency. And the rule is for this path isn't when you finish, it's finishing when you say you're going to finish. See what I mean? So it's interesting. It means you can't, if you say it's going to take you 20 minutes and you know it's going to take exactly 20 minutes, then you got to do things a certain way. If you say that you're going to do it and then finish early, like you're going to win something out of it, no, you don't. You don't. If you think about doing your path and getting there at a certain time exactly or within reason, then that means you have to really hone yourself to discipline yourself to what you will and won't do. If you time it to, okay, I can walk a mile in 15 minutes. This is hypothetical, and this mile is 2 miles long. That means it should take me 30 minutes. But that also means that you can't allow anyone in your path to get in your way. You weren't mindful enough, so now you can't let anyone get in your way. If it's an old lady, you gotta step past her. Keep on walking. You can't let her. If she falls down, you can't help nobody. Nothing. But now you gotta be more mindful. If you want to help people now, you're gonna have to go. Okay, well, there's about every quarter mile there's a person. I'm gonna spend 10 minutes with each person. Right? I forgot a person every quarter mile, whatever. I'm sorry. I'm thinking ahead of my own speech. Um, So there's the miles is 2 miles. One person per quarter mile. That's 8 people. So you got your 30 minutes. 10 minutes apiece plus 8. That's 140 minutes. That's a lot longer. So now you do that. You're gonna walk your path. And every person you spend 10 minutes with, even if they don't want your company, just walk behind them slowly for 10 minutes. Just keep an eye, observe. You'll learn more. You'll be more disciplined. And you can keep adding rules to this, but the longer it takes you to get there, now you got to remember all those rules you put in play to walk that path. Eventually, that path's going to take your entire lifetime. If it doesn't, you weren't trying. So for me, I have certain rules of helping people. I will help you. I'll give you the shirt off my back. If you're an addict, as long as you're sober, I'm there for you. I got you. Whatever you need. You even help people pay their rent, all sorts of shit. Even though I'm behind in my rent, I help other people pay their rent. Ain't that a bitch? Okay. Well, you even using? Okay, now that's out. I can't give you the shirt off my back. Our first goal is to get you some time in being sober and clean. And my goal is to help you get there by any means necessary. You fail at that, and then and usually 99% of the time it follows this pattern. You only call me when you're fucked up, and you only call to ask for shit after you're coming down, or to tell me how bad your life is. And at that point, I'm already like, I ain't got time for you. I'll pick up the phone still, and I'll ask how you doing. But I know within those first 3 minutes, it's going to be your spiel about how shitty things are. You really need some help. That's it, every time. And I'm not trying to be a mean person, but I know the routine. I did it before. Except there was one interesting thing. A lot of times I didn't ask. I would call with the intent to ask, understand where I stood, and stopped. So now I have the discipline now and got myself clean, and I understand how to deal with people and help them. Uh, and here's the interesting part, and I said this in another video. You can only help people the way they want to be helped, right? But when they're not asking for help, they're asking for you to take their responsibility. There's a huge difference. Such as, if you are hungry and you ask me for food and I give you food, do not be mad I did not give you money, because you said you were hungry and that's what I anticipated. And so therefore I just want to solve that problem. There you go. But on the same note, if you say you're hungry and I give you water, I can't be proud of my decision because I pretty much just told you, fuck you, I'll do what I want. It's a give and take. So when a person calls me after they've been getting high every weekend and then doing partying all weekend, I was like, oh man, I'm really behind on my rent. Okay. Well, here's a phone number to an agency that helps with being behind in rent. Well, can't you just, I heard you did this and this for so-and-so. Yes, I did. But they stayed sober that time. And when they were in a bind, they straight up was like, hey, I'm going to rehab. I'm going to go do everything. I'm going to try my best. And I was there for them 100% of the way. But not you. Because you have shown a pattern. And I'm just speaking hypothetically. You have shown me a pattern that you don't give a fuck what happens. You're going to take from everybody, complain about what they gave you, and then still go around and fuck around and then look at everybody like they're assholes. Which I really got called out and told I was a mean, cruel person because I had no sympathy with a poor person who repetitively went out, fucked up, and then treated me like shit because I wasn't all gung-ho to help them. Yet while I'm literally on the other line doing for other people. Yeah, I'm an asshole for that, but I made those rules for myself. If you don't like them, then you better ask somebody else, and hopefully they'll give it to you. And then in the next week, when you're repeating the same pattern, I'll still not be hating myself for believing you when I shouldn't have. which I've run into, and that's a self-protection thing, which I used to help people 100% no matter what the situation was, because I believed that people thought like me and had a little moral grounding even in their worst. Well, no, that's not true. Um, so, an example of that, I have a friend of mine. I don't know if they're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, but they pretty much don't talk to me as much anymore, so I just let them go. I speak them two sentences in a row or whatever. Hey, that's cool. Hey, how's it going? Whatever. I tell them hi every day, but that's it. Our speaking went from 2 or 3 hours a night to one text a day, usually for me, at least one text a day. And they'll might respond, maybe 12, 15 hours later or something with a, okay, I'm busy, I'm going to bed. I'm already disengaged from that because I've learned enough. You don't chase people, no matter how much you want them in your life. I don't chase them no more. I just close the door and walk away because obviously I'm not important enough to be a part of your life. And I spent years and years chasing other people because I felt they had importance to keep them in my life. Um, and it left me brokenhearted more times than it came out beneficial. In fact, I can't think of a single time as of right now, minus my best friend, where it's become beneficial. It's always turned out pretty negative. So I just don't chase. If you wanted to be here, you'd be here. If you want to be my friend, you'd be my friend. Because when I think of hours and trials and tribulations I did to try to keep in contact with people, no matter how tumultuous my life was, just for them not to be there whenever I called, what's the point? Uh, shit. By that means, I even got family members I call and go, "Hey, how's it going?" Well, yeah, go call your uncle. I'm pretty sure my uncle's dead, but I can't find him and no one cares. I called him once a few years ago because I was really messed up and in a bad situation. And I called him and whatever. He said he couldn't help me or whatever, and I figured a way out on my own. And I said I'd call him back, but I never got around to it because I couldn't find his number, and I was really an addict. So keeping up with important letters and numbers was not something I was good at. And now people are like, oh, go call him. What the fuck? Try calling you, motherfucker. But guess what? You didn't answer the phone anyway. When I called you when I was on the up and up, it was, hey, come on over for a Christmas party. We're doing this, that, and the other. When I was down and out and I called, no one answered. So I'm good on that. I'm good. I'm good. I mean, even the same thing with my own blood sister. I was in a bad situation. She gave me a call, talking about how she loves me and wants to work things out and be back together. Then she set me up in a bunch of fucked up ass situations and then kicked me out in the street, become homeless. In which of course I turned back to drugs and stuff like that for a little bit. But I got clean again pretty quickly. Um, and that was because I've been through a few disasters and um, it left me in bad situations before. Anyway, um, going back to following the path, I follow it because it shows results, not hypothetical results. Results. I doubt everything, even my own results, because I'm me. That isn't something everyone else does, but that's where I came up with my path, is because I can't have faith in something I see so many potholes in. I can't. Here's an example of what I mean. I cannot believe in a God who only believes in good, and all bad is all human error, and all good is his glory. If that's so, then you're going against the same nature you gave humans a nature and then told them to go against it, which you created, to get in your good graces. That literally makes no sense. That's like saying, okay, man, I have a dog, and until that dog flies, which I'm gonna help him do, but he can only fly because of me. Um, I'm not gonna accept him. Wait, so how could? But that means you're not accepting them. They just have to. I mean, you see what I mean? There's a conundrum there because under no way, under their own normal circumstances, are they able to fly until you give them the ability to fly, and they have to beg you for it and believe in and do all the things you want. You'll give them that ability a little bit, and then you'll accept them. Um, that's a hell of a mind fuck. I will not love my son until he. I will not love my son until he graduates from college. I'll pay for him to go to college, but I won't love him until he graduates from college. Think about that. Think about that. But he has to show me love. You know, I'm gonna no, not until, not until. But he has to show me love. The minute he doesn't, I'm not sending him to college. But so he has to put in the work that's against his nature and against his the things that are going on around him, and what you're showing him, and he has to do it purely because in the future you'll do him a favor. That's not love. That's not even faith. Um that's a lot of things, but that never made sense to me. But it does make sense that there is a path in life, right? And that path is successful for those who follow it, good or bad. Hear me out. Good or bad. And having faith in the path just makes the path easier to walk for everyone. Does that make sense? Here we go. If you're to have free will, and God says there's a path, and I'm using God loosely, you can call him whatever you want. I don't know what you call him. I'm just saying because that's the common methodology. And God says, hey, I want all of you to be with me, or I want all of you to come to the end of this path. But the problem I have is to get everyone to the end of the path, I need you to follow the markers I show you to take the right directions and get there in timely fashion. That's what I need you to do. But for you to do that, you have to believe that those markers are there. You don't have to believe me. You'll see I'll prove I'm there because I'm at the end of the path. But you must follow these markers to get there. That's a little bit more reasonable. Even though it says that you have that faith is understanding that, hey, I put these markers here for you to see how to get here. And those who ignore the markers are going to make it harder for everyone else to get there. And many people miss the markers because they're too busy focusing on only the markers that some guy in a suit told them who's driving a Lexus while they're fucking catching the bus. You see what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. One makes a lot more sense. The other doesn't. Now, it made sense maybe a few hundred years ago when the markers weren't as abundant. And of course, we know how to abuse those markers to take money from you and be greedy and do things like that. So it's different now. So those old rules don't apply, but that methodology of the markers, and let me show you the markers to see a way, always will work. No matter what amount of stress. So now, if you have a group of people who all see the markers, their job is to help other people see them. Whereas the Bible says is to teach. Now does it start making sense? And to punish those who don't follow the path or are pulling you away from seeing those markers. Because if you remove them, they're less strain on the system to get you to that end goal. Now, here's the beautiful part. Who's the bad guy? Now, many of you think it's criminals. That's not true. Not at all. Some people may think atheists like myself, but honestly, that's not true because now I'm explaining it to you a way that you can now see and understand your own religion a lot better. You see what I mean? So who is it actually? Um, and it's not all of these certain groups, but it's a lot of them. Politicians, the the greedy. There we go. The greedy. We're not even gonna go rich, band, poor. The greedy are the ones who pull you away from seeing those markers. That's exactly it. Those that see a path, right? And their only goal is to filter people through that path and become a hindrance in which those who walk the path will avoid, right? They avoid it. And by avoiding it, they're paying to those who are making a toll. They're putting tolls in the road, a toll bridge on the path. It wasn't their path, but they put a toll bridge on the path, and they continuously do so. Those are the people who need to be removed because they're using their greed instead of the guidance to guide people forward. And you can tell because they're always there at specific points in life. Now, let's look at which ones are greedy. Some of it could be the government, but let's not point at them because figuratively and literally they pave roads for you to be able to walk that path, right? Some of the other stuff. One moment. Some of the other stuff does get in your way, but it comes out to a net positive, net neutral. It doesn't. It's up or down. But the politicians themselves, they are those toll roads. They want you to do a specific thing, act a certain way to help fill their pocketbooks and maneuver stuff. Some of them have good ideals, bad ideas. Who cares? But the reality is that their goal is to create tolls for other people, not for you, not for by themselves, but for other people. That's it. So now that I've explained the morality and the understanding I have of the world, how do you use it? I understand how to see the markers in my path and to walk it correctly. But I'm a very mindful person. Keep my eyes open, my ears open, and my thoughts loose. Not flighty, but loose. Meaning, if someone tells me today, or here we go, Einstein said this: God does not play dice with science. And then they found out he was wrong. God kind of does play dice with science. But it isn't dice. It's another thing he didn't understand. That is a rigid state of mind because you don't know. You never did know. In fact, your statement by itself is false because anyone saying that they know another person isn't going to do something, they don't know. They're just using probability. Okay. So, being loose, I can accept being wrong at all times. Even when I'm right, I can accept being wrong for that moment when needed. Because obviously there are more mechanics at play that I'm not adding in. So I may be right in my situational small part, but I accept that I could be wrong on a grander scheme. Here's a prime example. If I'm at home, I like going in extremes. I come home and my wife and kids are under duress and say, "Hey, honey, I think you forgot the groceries in the car." "I didn't get any groceries." "Yes, you did. You just told me you did." "Okay. When we talked on the phone, I was on the way to work." "Yeah, when you called me." I'm gonna head back outside and try and figure out what the hell's going on because in reality, I didn't call her, and I doubt she's crazy. And the fact they're under duress means that something else is going on, and she's trying to get me to figure it out. See what I mean? I know for a fact I'm right. You did not call me and you did not tell me to get the groceries because that is not usually how we handle things to be done. But being right doesn't mean I'm right. I failed at that a lot because I was always trying to prove myself. Now I don't try to prove shit. I do shit. I do a lot of things more along the lines of understanding a bigger outcome than the small being right at the moment. And a lot of it, sometimes I don't necessarily agree with. But it's how the system works, or how a system works. There's a person who got in some trouble, and I could have bailed him out. But I had a understanding in me, let's say it's instinct, that said don't help them, and I didn't. In the moment I didn't help them, a lot of things went my way, so I can help them later. But if I'd helped them now, I would have put myself in a bad position. And I'm not saying it's some magic or whatever. I'm saying these are realities that by being loose in my thinking and accepting of the things that go on around me, I'm more in tune with making decisions that are more dynamic. Like me making this video. I would never do this video, but something tells me that it's important for people to understand what religion is and isn't, especially to me. And so that's all I got right now. I got too much stuff going on here with people being loud and trying to get attention. So I'm going to leave this alone. This is mine for Friday. I got to do my TikTok for today because, well, I'm trying to be on schedule and I'm trying to put out as much content. I had another bit before this, but I realized it's wrong because it was a private conversation between me and another, and too much personal information came out. So I got to delete that. That was my video for yesterday I was supposed to put up, but I'm doing this one instead. All right, guys. Stay good. Stay smart. Stay strong. Stay motivated. Keep going. The only thing you're guaranteed in this life is to die, and do it on your own terms. Peace.